I'm Jamie Andreas from GuitarPrinciples.com. You know, a big problem for guitar students is finding practice time. It can be very difficult, especially in a busy adult life, to find that extra half hour or hour to just put everything else aside and focus on the guitar. But what I like to teach my students is how much you can get done in just a 5-minute practice session if you really know how to practice. And that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a couple of passages that in recent weeks I've liked to sit down with, and throughout my work day I will, since my guitars are always around me, which is another thing I recommend that students do, always have your guitars around. Even if you work in an office, try to manage to have a guitar somewhere where you can grab it when no one's around. And if you really know how to practice effectively, you can take very specific little trouble spots that you're having and do really good work on them in even 3 to 5 minutes that, as the days and weeks go by, will make a very big improvement in your playing. And I'm going to give you a few examples of how I go about doing that. First, you're going to see me practice a passage from my repertoire. It's rather challenging. It has fast-moving chord changes involving bars in the 4th finger. It has to be done with great control. I'm going to use a very powerful form of practice called no-tempo practice, where we go through the movements extremely slowly and even stopping at certain critical points to relax a part of the body, maybe a shoulder that needs relaxing or a finger that needs to be closer, a right hand finger that needs to be touching a string at a certain point of time. And I'm going to go through all the necessary moves needed to play the piece at a fast speed and make sure that they're happening and that I have absolute relaxation throughout my whole body. Now that I've done that, I'm going to put myself to the test by moving to the metronome, putting it on 60, and I'm going to take 2 clicks for each note in this passage and see if all the changes occur in time. Because even though the beat is slow, the changes still need to be rather quick to keep me on the beat. Now that I have done 2 clicks, I'm going to move to 1 click. Now I'm going to take the passage, double that speed, and play the A chords. Now, I call this the spacing technique, where we go in multiples of the beat. We put it on something slow and then keep doubling it until it gets around our target speed. And this is a shorthand way of keeping a previously learned passage still fresh in the fingers. Now that I have done it at those various speeds, I'm going to just leave the metronome going and just play it more with the phrasing that I'm going to ultimately use when I play it. To demonstrate another practice technique I use in my 5-minute practice sessions, I will practice this scale. I will put the metronome on my target speed that I ultimately want to arrive at. And with the metronome going, I will first ignore the metronome and just kind of move through the scale, again stopping at certain critical points to give extra focus to a finger or a part of the body. Then I am going to work the passage in groups, staying with the metronome and then stopping, just to review certain more challenging parts of the whole scale. Then I'll finish up with playing through the whole scale at the speed the metronome is clicking. Now here you see a very important part of the process. I have my tape recorder going, which has a little button for half speed, and I'm listening back to that very fast scale to make sure that I was accurate. And believe me, a lot of times I'm not. So I'll listen a few times to really make sure that I've nailed this scale. A good candidate for a 5-minute practice session is a chord change that you find difficult. I like to use this chord change from a study by Fernando Sor because it's a great stretch for the fingers, and that's how it goes. And believe me, there are many moving parts to this chord change, especially once the right hand is put into it. So you'll see me first moving through the chord change at no tempo. Again, full focus on the body, whole body during the move, shoulders, neck, and of course my fingers. And then I'm going to play it at various speeds with a metronome, and I will finally end up just moving through the passage the way I want to play it. So I highly recommend that you begin to incorporate the 5-minute practice session into your day. Keep your guitars available if possible, and always have in your mind a few passages from the various things that you're learning that need extra work. Now, of course, all of this is going to depend on your ability to analyze the problems that you're having. You have to know what needs to be done in order to play the various passages successfully. And then, of course, you need to know how to practice in a way that's really going to make a difference. Use the methods that you've seen me use here. And if you need more education in those methods, of course, it is all contained in the various books and products that are available at guitarprinciples.com.